Thank you for joining us tonight. We spoke a few days before the Assad regime fell, and you said at the time he's not done yet. There's more possible time. There might be several things happening that might save him, like Iran or Russia. Neither one of those happened. What do you think happened that led to this quick downfall?
Well, I mean, it seems to be that both Iran and Russia decided that there's nothing to fight for anymore. And they essentially left him alone. Russia bombarded some positions in Aleppo, and then that was it. And Iran really withdrew its advisors from Damascus and Syria rather than send troops. And then Assad was alone, and it turned out his army was not willing to fight with him. After Aleppo, there was really no more combat operations. It was essentially similar to what the Taliban did in summer 2021. They drove into Kabul. They didn't have to fight for Kabul.
So you said in our last conversation that you were concerned about Al Qaeda, this organization being a former offshoot of Al Qaeda, and there's ISIS as well. Do you still have those concerns?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, the first thing that happened was an Al Qaeda statement celebrating the situation in Syria. That is concerning.
One of the things that a lot of people are looking at, and certainly I am, and I'm sure you are too, the influence of Russia and Iran inside of Syria. This naval base that Russia has on the western coast of Syria in Tartu. What do you think the status of that is right now? Because that's the only warm water port they have outside of Sevastopol. What do you think the status of that is?
I mean, this is a strategic port for Russia. It is, as you said, their only current access to the Mediterranean directly. But even more strategically is the airbase in Tartus, because from that airbase, Russia has been resupplying all its mercenaries in all of Africa. So, question is, neither one is functioning right now. The harbor and the airbase are not working. What is going to happen? I interpret the statements of Lavrov in the waning days of the Assad regime last week, where he seemed to be distancing himself from Assad as a potential play to keep those bases. Whether he and Russia is allowed to do so, I have my doubts, because every Syrian remembers that the Russian Air Force not only supported Assad, but supported Assad by predominantly bombarding civilian areas, not military installations, civilian areas, with a very clear message: if you resist Assad, we're not going to kill you, we're going to kill your family. Now, this is not forgotten. So I have my doubts that the Russians can keep their bases. They have one trump card. Assad himself is in Moscow. And I wonder why it was Moscow that gave him this humanitarian refuge, and whether there is a potential deal that Mr. Putin, without a doubt, is absolutely willing to make, i.e., I exchange one president for two bases.
Would that work though, right now?
It is very clear that, and Jolani has said today, they are going to bring all of the senior officials of the regime to justice. If you've seen what was shown, how the prison system worked when they stormed the prisons, it is clear that justice needs to be had. And why should he put everyone else on notice, but leave the president in his guest house in Moscow alone? So there is certainly an interest of the Syrians to get Assad back, to bring him to justice.